Okay, this is the review for the quiz on equations of circles. For numbers 1 through 4, use the given information to write the standard equation of each circle. Okay, so number 1, you're given the center and the radius. Now, for the left side of the equation, when you write the x and the y terms, you're going to use the opposite signs for the center. So for the center, I'm going to do x minus 12 squared. Okay, x minus 12 squared plus y minus 10 squared equals not 6, it's going to equal 6 squared, which is 36. Okay? Same thing for number 2. Take the opposite sign. So I'm going to do x plus 8 squared equals y. I mean plus, not equals, plus. Change that real quick. Okay, so this should be a plus. Plus y minus 16 squared. And it's going to equal the radius squared, so it's going to equal 2 squared, which is 4. Okay, now number 3 and number 4, we have the center, but we don't know what the radius is. So to get the radius, we're going to use the distance formula. So here's the distance formula. Let's copy it down first. x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. I'll replace the distance with r for radius. Subtract the x's. So 7 minus negative 5 squared. Plus, subtract the y's. Negative 2 minus negative 2 squared. You can change the minus negatives to plus or positives. Plus positive, plus positive. So it's going to be 12 squared. 7 plus 5 is 12. 12 squared is 144. Plus 0, because negative 2 plus 2 is 0, and 0 squared is 0. So the radius equals square root of 144, means the radius equals 12. So now my final answer, remember I use the opposite sign, so x minus 7 squared plus y plus 2 squared is going to equal the radius squared. 12 squared is 144. Same thing for number 4. We're going to have to use the distance formula to get the radius. So I'll just copy that down again. x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. I'll replace the distance d with radius r, because the radius is the distance from the center to a point on the circle by the definition of a circle. Subtract the x's, so I'll do 4 minus 1 squared. Plus, subtract the y's, make sure you start with the same one. So I started here last time, I'm going to start here again. Negative 7 minus negative 11 squared. You can make the minus negative plus a positive. So we're going to have 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 squared is 9. Negative 7 plus 11 is 4, and 4 squared is 16. So 9 plus 16 is 25. The radius is the square root of 25, which means the radius equals 5. So for my final answer, it's going to be x minus 4 squared, okay, x minus 4 squared, plus y plus 7 squared, equals the radius, which is 5 squared. So 25. Radius squared, 5 squared is 25. For numbers 5 and 6, state the center and the radius of each circle, then sketch each graph. And number 5, the center is 0, 3, because you changed the sign. I'll write that below. The center is 0, 3. And the radius is not 9, it's the square root of 9. The square root of 9 is 3. So what you do is you plot the center, 0, 3. You go up 3, plot a point, because that's the radius. You go down 3 and plot a point. Go right 3 and plot a point. And you go left 3 and plot a point. And then draw your circle. I'm just going to do that right now real quick. There we go, something like that. Good circle right there. Next one. This one has a center of -4, -2. Has a radius equal to the square root of 4, which equals 2. Graph the center first, -4, -2. The radius is 2, so you go up 2, plot a point, down 2, plot a point, right 2, plot a point, left 2, plot a point, and then draw your circle. Try that first. Ta-da! Something like that's good. Moving on to the second page. Okay. Number 7 and number 8, use the graphs provided to write the standard equation of each circle. Okay, so the center, and you might want to write this off to the side somewhere. The center here is -1, 2. I'll write it over here. And the radius is 1, 2, 3. Radius is 3. So for my answer, I'm going to do x plus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals the radius, which is 3 squared, so it's 9. Okay, the radius squared, so 3 squared is 9. It's not equal to 3, it's equal to 3 squared, which is 9. Number 8, again, I'll write this off to the side somewhere. The center is 3, -3. Do it over here. And the radius is 1, 2, 3, 4. So my answer will be x minus 3 squared plus y plus 3 squared. That's going to equal the radius squared. 4 squared is 16. For number 9 and number 10, complete the square to write the equation of each circle in standard form, then state the center and the radius. Okay? So your setup is good. You want x squared, then x, if there is an x, then y squared, then y, if there is a y, and you want your number, your constant term, on the other side of the equation. That's great. So what you're going to do is after the x's and the y's, you're going to put plus blank. So x squared minus 6x plus blank plus y squared. I don't have to put any blank after that because there's no linear term. There's no term like 10y, 8y, -3y. So I'm just going to do equals 55 plus blank. Complete the square, do it off to the side. Take the -6, divide it by 2. Gives you -3. -3 squared equals 9. You always take the numbers before the x's and or the y's. You always divide it by 2, and then you always square that number. So in this case, we get 9. So that's the number I'm going to add to each side of the equation. Now what you're going to do is you're going to factor these 3 terms. You can either look for 2 numbers that multiply to 9 and add to -6, or just use the shortcut. It's whatever that number is. Okay? So it's a -3. So I'm going to write down x minus 3 squared plus y squared equals 64. 55 plus 9 is 64. That's the answer. Question also asked you for the center and the radius. The center is 3, 0. The radius is not 64. It equals the square root of 64, which equals 8. Radius equals 8. Number 10. Let's bring the 59 over to the other side. It has to be on the other side. X squared plus 8x plus y squared minus 10y equals 59. After the linear terms, in this case the 8x and -10y, you're going to put a plus blank. So x squared plus 8x plus blank plus y squared minus 10y plus blank equals 59 plus blank plus blank. Let's complete the square off to the side. 8 divided by 2 equals 4. 4 squared equals 16. Plus 16 plus 16. It's like your side work over here. -10 divided by 2 equals -5. -5 squared equals 25. Again, this is your side work. Plus 25, plus 25. The first 3 terms, factors to become x plus 4 squared. The next 3 terms, factors to become y minus 5 squared. Add up those 3 numbers on the right. 80, 91, it equals 100. So our center is -4, 5. The radius equals the square root of 100, which is 10. And that's the end of the quiz review. Okay? So again, these are not all easy. 9 and 10 were hard, I would say, and 3 and 4 were hard. That's the end for the review for the quiz. It was on equations of circles.